LaMelo Ball is the name. And, holy cow, I got some aggressive text messages going on right now. Okay, 3-2. Holy cow. Yeah, mercurial is the right adjective. All right, so go ahead and look at the game logs and the stats and read the stories and everything. And the mercurial point guard, LaMelo Ball, is going to be a member of the Minnesota Timberwolves. There goes Naz Reid. Now, the with LaMelo, what I said earlier, quirky, explosive, unorthodox, chuck it up from anywhere is the game. That's his game. He shoots about 10 three-pointers a game. That's cool. You know, whether it's Johnny K or Super Special Shams or whomever, the qualifier the adjective, the qualifier, the descriptor that many are using with LaMelo Ball is star point guard. I'm not willing to go that far until the star shines at the right time with the right people and for the right amount of games. And I'm quite familiar with LaMelo Ball's game. I've watched him play many, many times. And there are some times that LaMelo Ball, this side of SGA, looks like the best point guard in the NBA. But then all of a sudden, under the cover of darkness, he's gone for like 3 weeks. Here's what we mean. You got LaMelo and elbows flying all over the place with some sweet no-look passes and maybe 10 three-point attempts a game. Then you get to the LaMelo money. All right, we can deal with this. $40 million this year, $43 next year, and 28, 29, 2028, 2029, $46 million, unrestricted free agent in 2029. So talk back this and about these T-Wolves draft picks if you're interested. Free iHeartRadio app. You know what to do there. And again, I mean, with respect, I don't know if I would qualify him as a star point guard simply because he had one season of 75 games. He had another at 72. And the 72, the season last year, it's being described as the best season LaMelo Ball ever has had. Okay, I can't argue with that. Steve's Appliances Marathon segment, stevesappliances.com. 4th of July sale. Save a lot of money on appliances, specifically when you bundle them. Put together your laundry appliances like the washing machine and the dryer, or maybe a kitchen setup. And Sarah, Brian, Jordan, everybody at Steve's Appliances in Mounds View, they will save you money. Marathon segments are owned by Steve's Appliances and stevesappliances.com. LaMelo played 72 games last year. Injuries have been the atopic common thread his entire career. LaMelo can score. He's the kind of guy, if you let him shoot and shoot and shoot, he might run up 50 on you. He's one of the better rebounding guards in the NBA. Perimeter defense leaves a little to be desired. He jumps routes. He takes a lot of chances, but that's fine. That's part of his game. Again, wonderful rebounding guard, not in the class of Amen Thompson, but nevertheless, one of the better rebounding guards in the NBA. He can get you 7, 8, 9 assists a game after game after game when he plays. The Timberwolves clearly were desperate for a point guard, but see, now we get to the difference between, or the split, the separator from desperation and desire, or maybe even diabolical. Those 72 games that LaMelo played last year. Now, 2022 through 2025, LaMelo Ball played 105 of a possible 246 games. 105 of a possible 246. That gets one of these.
Oh my gosh.
All right. So injuries have been the A topic. Now, the Buzz, the Hornets, beloved Buzz, got 72 games out of him last year, yet drafted Texas Tech point guard Christian Anderson. Christian Anderson Jr., who can score. Christian Anderson Jr., Texas Tech, drafted him 2 days ago, 18th spot in the 2026 draft. They had 2 first-round picks. They used the other on a beefeater from Washington. And many say that the guy they got there was the best rebounding rookie in the draft. Cool. But they got Anderson, and Kobe White's a free agent. They got Zion James, whose name made the mix yesterday. But the point is, Do they love Christian Anderson Jr. so much? They're like, wow, we just hit on the hit of all hits ever to hit. I think we can move LaMelo. Or our beloved Buzz, the Charlotte Hornets, looking at it like, man, we got 72 out of him last year on those ankles, so we might want to get out while we're still alive. Now, don't kill the 9 to noon messenger. Okay, we're sharing facts. Now, that was speculation and like a question that somebody may be offering up from afar, but the 105 of a possible 246 games, well, that's factual.
Yeah.
The drafting of Texas Tech point guard Christian Anderson Jr. with the 18, that's factual. Now, let's get into the weeds a little bit with LaMelo Ball. He may have played 72 games last year, but at just 28 minutes a game. Now, that's more than half the game, according to Pasadena City College math. But if I'm a Hornets fan, and I followed LaMelo all of his career, and I think we got the ankles, and I think we got the hip contusion, and I think we got both wrists, and I think we have both ankles all squared away, and we're going to play him 72 games, and he purportedly is the best player on my team, I'm wondering why he comes out of every game 5 minutes into the first quarter, and he plays 28 minutes per game on average. So that's the first question I have. Why did somebody make $40 million, which is fair country money? It's not max of all maxes ever to max, but $40 million is a fat number. Then it goes to like 43 and 46, something like that. All right, so we get 72 out of him, second most regular season in his career, but he's always coming out of the game, and he plays 28 minutes per game on average. So my first question is why? And my response from afar would be, bubble wrap, though.
I always love that one.
$40 million for 28 minutes per game. That doesn't completely add up for me with respect. Now, the reports have been accurate about LaMelo Ball, starting with Substack Nation through Johnny Athletic, It's the Lions, and probably .com Tom. So the reports are accurate, and the Minnesota Timberwolves, even though teams have not confirmed, and I don't expect confirmation from either team really for about 2.5, 3 weeks. But, you know, from those with whom I chat, and you know, you got shams out there, man. So this thing's real. So LaMelo and Josh Green are coming here. Naz Reid is leaving, and we're going to get into talkbacks here in a little bit. But the reports being accurate had me thinking of two words, desperate and diabolical. Diabolical in that, or desire-oriented in that, the Timberwolves feel he finally hit stride last year with the 72 games, and there's nothing to see in the infirmary moving forward. Nothing to see here, nothing to see there, nothing to see all the way back throughout his career. Desperate, it would be desperate in that the Timberwolves perhaps needed a point guard so badly that indeed they were willing to look the other way on all the games missed and suspect defense, because when healthy, LaMelo will provide moments that are going to cause Alex Rodriguez to jump out of his seat. But see, then if he misses 10 in a row and it just happens, you have no idea how it happened or when it happened, but it happened. The owners might be like, why did we pay $40 million for this? And again, this is we are not here to lead the ball bashing covenant. We are just wondering, because this is a grandiose deal. A very popular player has been traded, but a significant need has been filled. So with LaMelo, I mean, the way I just framed that up last time, that's what you're going to see.
Yeah.
He's going to get you out of your seat. He's going to get you out of your seat. Your vertical is going to be 24 to 36 inches, and you're going to be like, holy cow, I'm super happy that guy's on our team. And then you're not going to see him potentially for 2 weeks because of some weird injury, and then you're going to wonder why the guy's on your team. So that has been the career of LaMelo Ball. But it's with LaMelo, this from yours truly and 9 to noon is all happenstance. It's speculative moving forward. We're kind of spitballing, and massaging an NBA mind that has followed it since Larry Bird and Magic Johnson were rookies. The new owners, Mark Lowry and Alex Rodriguez, this is a signature move, because Glenn Taylor was still firmly in the mix when Karl Anthony Towns was traded. So this is a signature move by the new ownership, along with the Julius Randle deal. And if anybody had a question as to how willing to spend massive stacks of cash in the early stages of the venture the owners are, I was thinking it was a fair question last night. Now the money situation with Naz and LaMelo and Josh Green and the picks and everything, that's going to work itself out. But when you have something new, something of significance that is new, like owners of a team, Alex Rodriguez and Mark Lowry, full throttle owners, it is fair to wonder how willing to spend massive stacks of cash they are early in this venture. It's fair to ask after you peddle Julius Randle for a salary dump. So that's a fair question to ask. Then you make a grandiose move like this. So perhaps the Julius situation, and eventually you get the pick for Showtime Slim, Nordo's guy Isaiah Evans. You got a salary dump in there, but nevertheless, you got Ayo Dosunmu, where some of that money was used to bring him back. 9 to Noon's a massive fan of that in the Covenant, but perhaps a lot of this transpiring was due to the fact that they knew LaMelo Ball was heading this way.
Right.
So when it comes to FINA, Fairness and 9 to Noon Act, there are people with organizations that we could have on the radio, but they can't talk about players that are currently under contract with other teams. So that makes things really tricky when the A topic is a veteran who still is technically on another team, but that's probably only going to be the case for 2 or 3 weeks. Now, $40 million for 28 minutes per game. $40 million last year for 28 minutes per game in what's being deemed as the best season of LaMelo Ball's career. But he plays point, and we desperately needed a point guard. Jaylen Brown, that name started bouncing around a little bit last night. Boston Celtic alpha. Jaylen Brown doesn't play point, and Dallas does not or did not seem to want to lose Kyrie Irving. And that's kind of where we stand, right? I mean, it doesn't seem like Dallas isn't really Michigan guy isn't really interested in no, I like Kyrie and I like Cooper and I like the Michigander that we brought in here. Now I want to keep Kyrie. Didn't it kind of feel like that?
It feels like that, and it also feels like whether it's new coach or just moving forward with Cooper Flag, that they want some stability in the backcourt, and they want to keep Kyrie at least until they find another option. You had mentioned kind of the superstar status or lack thereof. Is it safe to say that the lack of superstar status, I tend to agree with you, it is exclusively due to the health thing, however?
I wouldn't say exclusively. I mean, and beauty is in the eye of the beholder when you watch a LaMelo. Beauty is in the ear of the beholder when you listen to his games on the radio, or do we call it audio?
Yeah.
There are facets of his game that are not for me. He's a difficult player to watch sometimes, even when he's full throttle healthy, and he's giving you 23, 6, and 4.
Yeah.
So we're gonna let that develop on its own. And because it also is fair to contend, or it's fair to mention, with respect to Con Knippel and Brandon Miller, LaMelo Ball has never played on a team with a coaching staff this smart, the depth of it. Anthony Edwards. Now, I mean, most people in the NBA would say Brandon Miller is a better player than Jaden McDaniels. I'm not willing to take that leap until I watch them both move forward. Brandon Miller, until proven otherwise, consistently is a better scorer than Jaden McDaniels. But Jaden started to show some things in the postseason last year where clearly it's like, all right, we can move Julius. We can get whatever we need from him. But see, now you've moved Julius and Naz. Yeah. And you've added a score-first point guard. LaMelo, I mean, LaMelo has some big box score to him. I don't, it's when people qualify him as a star point guard, I'd put star-ish because he steals games. I mean, there are times during games when you watch him, you're like, are you kidding me with this?
Yeah.
This guy's unbelievable. And then he throws up a weird one from the logo, and it's an air ball, and the other team goes the other way and dunks, and then he comes back and misses a layup, and they go the other way because he's yelling at the ref. And they get an and one, and a tie game all of a sudden went to the other guy leading by 6. So when I say LaMelo Ball is mercurial, I'm not backing off that adjective. The totality of his career has been that of mercurial. But when these names started bouncing around last night, like Jaylen Brown, all right, made $53 million last year, and he played 35 minutes per game and scored 28 per. The point being here, all right, they got 72 out of LaMelo last year, second highest of his career at 28 minutes per game. That was a lot lighter than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, and Ant plays about 36-ish.
Right.
For comparison. So an extra almost 2/3 of a quarter there per game.
Is Ant a star?
Absolutely, he's a star.
Is Jaylen Brown a star?
Absolutely, he's a
Is
star.
Kyrie Irving a star?
Star.
Okay, so I think people can understand the concern that we're building here while being happy and giddy and looking forward to having a younger, true point guard for the Minnesota Timberwolves. This is a conundrum. This for yours truly, and I think league-wide people would say that there's some conundrum to this LaMelo Ball deal. Why? Because his entire career has been that of a conundrum. So Kyrie Irving, Jaylen Brown made $53 million last year, played about 35 minutes per game, and scored 28 points a game. All right? Dog. Kyrie Irving didn't play last year, but a couple of years ago, and at an average of $34 million on his contract, less than LaMelo, he gave the Mavs in a Western was that the year they went to the NBA Finals and they beat the Timberwolves? It might have been. He gave them 36 minutes per game at 25 points per game and about 5 rebounds and assists per game. Kyrie Irving, dog. Kyrie Irving, superstar. Kyrie Irving, tens of millions of dollars in compensation. 36 minutes a game. Jaylen Brown, 35 minutes a game, 28 points per game. And with respect, because they're not coming here, but both are better than LaMelo Ball. Now, 9 to noon, we're not all about being ball bashers. It's just those injuries, man. It's the injuries.
That's the key for me.
Okay, well, let's go through it like this. Fractured wrist, March of 2021. October of 2022, left ankle sprain, missed 13 games. 2 months later, sprained the same ankle again, missed 11 more games. I mean, seriously, how fragile is this left ankle? He sprained it this time, stepping on a fan's foot.
I always love that one.
So they wait for LaMelo, and he's going for 30, and he's looking like a savior for the franchise. And then they lose him for 11 games. Why? Because he stepped on Ethel's foot in the front row.
I always love that one.
Seriously.
There's that aspect. The reason I wanted to focus on is it the superstar status dwindling because of the mercurial nature of on-court, or is it more based on this unbelievably crazy injury history he's had? Because on paper and on TV, sometimes those things don't match. LaMelo Ball, to me, comes in as the most talented point guard that this franchise has ever had, and certainly that Anthony Edwards has ever had the opportunity to play with. And what you nailed is there are going to be at Target Center so many, are you freaking kidding me with this? You're getting out of your seats multiple times. Mm-hmm. Plan your bathroom breaks around those 5 minutes into the game he sits down, because you're going to want to see LaMelo in every game. He'll make head-scratching decisions at times. So true. But I almost look at it like it's kind of sad that LaMelo at this stage of his career hasn't been able to elevate, that he has been limited by these injuries. And I'm glad you mentioned it. He has not been coached by a guy like Finch before.
Well, with these injuries, let me finish the laundry list. And I'm glad you said most talented point guard in the history of the team. With respect, he's not in Sam Cassell's class until he leads a team through the postseason.
In terms of a career, totally.
Right. I'm saying with what we saw with a superstar in Kevin Garnett, Anthony Edwards, and just the way the leadership and the bulldog nature, and up until that back got hurt in the postseason, I mean, Sam, the man who used to play on the Fan, for my taste, is absolutely the best point guard in the history of this team, even though he wasn't here that long. But LaMelo is the most talented point guard this team has ever had. But those injuries, we're talking 2022, and he steps on Mabel's foot in the front row during a Charlotte Hornets game, and he messed up his left ankle again. So he's out again. And the legitimate question is, how fragile is the left ankle? Now, a month after that, he fractured his right ankle. So here we go with the healthy ankles, November of 2023. That was all 2022. Here we go with the healthy ankles and off-season rehab, November of 2023. Gets fans excited, scoring 26 a game and close to 9 assists a game. Then bam, strains his right ankle and misses a bunch of games. Comes back 2 months later, and after missing 20 games, plays a few, then is out for the rest of the season due to a problematic right ankle. That was in 2023.
Do we know if foot doctors, do they also handle ankles?
Wait. Whomever signed up, with respect to every doctor who's ever worked with the Minnesota Timberwolves, everybody on there, it's the age of rage, and people are overly sensitive.
We need to acknowledge
trainers, Greg Farnham, everybody who works with the sports performance team for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Anybody call the guy who signed off on Caleb Banks and his foot?
I always love that one.
I mean, honestly, we have so much foot-related terrorism with rookies and veterans and everything in this market that I do believe getting in touch with the Don Sutton lookalike might not be the worst idea in the world. But that 2023, I mean, they're all super excited with the ankles, and he's scoring 26 a game, and he's at about 9 assists a game. Then out of nowhere, strains his right ankle, misses a bunch of games. Comes back 2 months later after missing 20 games, plays a few, then is out the rest of the season. Why? Problematic right ankle. Then you get to the 2024-25 season, ankles are strong. Well, these ankles are strong. Then hearts are full. Optimism high. He had a 4-game stretch where he averaged 40 points a game, looking like a cross between Magic Johnson and Allen Iverson. Then he misses the better part of a month. Now it's a left calf strain. Then he comes back December that same year, and he has ankle and wrist problems and misses more time. Those are the past performances. And I do think, given a good and popular player what was included in this trade, it's super fair to lay all of that out.
Yeah.
Now he's ours. We have talkbacks. We have the talkback machine. We'll utilize that multiple times today.
I did get a text, 64686. Ben, I'm just going to trust. I don't know Ben.
Mm-hmm.
He writes, yes, foot and ankle is the doctor's specialty.
Oh, wow.
Ankle solved. I saw Krasinski and with these. I saw Krasinski post something. I should grab it so that I don't misrepresent it. Here we go. About 20 minutes ago, Wolves have been trying to get LaMelo for 2 years. They paid a price, but with Naz. But there's elation throughout the building about pairing him with Anthony Edwards. So inside that building, they have been. It sounds like in love with LaMelo. They have certainly dug into the injury-related situations that you've laid out that absolutely required to be mentioned as part of this. I'm just figuring this out in my head with LaMelo next to Ant and solving a position that we were so much in need in. You use the term desperately. This is going to be freaking fun. It's going to be awesome at times at Target Center, and the scoring nature out of our backcourt. Similarly to the way that we talked about when we got bounced by Kyrie and Luka. Look at that. If only we could pair somebody with Ant in the backcourt and provide that type of scoring on a nightly basis. I wonder what that would look like, at least on paper. Got to stay healthy, my boy. Let's go get him to the Caleb Banks doctor, get this thing signed off, play 72 games. Let's get him into the 30s in terms of minutes on a nightly basis, and let's watch this thing run. Like, this is going to be completely different. And that's what's kind of amazing about this. Years ago, you bring Rudy into the mix, and that's for a specific goal and a purpose, elevating this team, but it provides a different look. This team now is going to look much different yet again, PA, now that LaMelo's here.
All right, so let's put Vikes Bites on hold next segment. We'll start the talkbacks then.
Yeah.
LaMelo, Ant, Jaden, Stifle, and who? That can be part of the talkbacks. Terrence Shannon Jr., Isaiah Evans, in a hotly contested battle until Dante returns. Do they start Ayo, or do they like him off the bench? Ayo would be favored. Play him at 2. Then you play Edwards at small forward. What does that do for you offensively, but maybe more specifically defensively? But nevertheless, this is all extremely fluid. It for sure can be argued, like Nordo said, the Ball never has played with a coaching staff this smart and a star that shines like Edwards, and just maybe Jaden McDaniels is every bit as good, if not better, than Brandon Miller. That's going to be a major key in this equation. Those ankles, though.